Howdy! Earlier this morning I put out a short video on Solstice Loot that I'd spoken with a few people about beforehand, and I was assured the info was all correct. And you know what? Shame on me for not triple checking. Soon after posting that video, there were a few comments with conflicting information, enough for me to think, maybe I made a mistake. So I decided to put the video on private and fire up a stream to start collecting hard data because man, do I dislike not accurate information. But anyway, now I've got a bunch of numbers for you and added bonus, new info and tips on how to optimally farm Solstice God rolls if you're into that kind of thing. First things first, a super brief recap on how Solstice Loot works. Completing the Bonfire Bash activity will give you Solstice Loot. When you first start out, you'll only get weapon drops, more on that in a minute. In order to get armor drops, you need to first unlock each individual armor piece, which you'll do via the new addition to the event, the Solstice Forge, which you can find in the quest tab. The Forge allows you to buy bounties, complete them, and you'll earn alloy. When you have enough alloy, you can then unlock a piece of Solstice Armor. The bounties have 3 levels of difficulty and can give you either 5, 15, or 50 alloy depending on that level of difficulty. In order to buy forge bounties, you need to spend silver leaves, which you can earn A via the Bonfire Bash activity, or B by completing most activities in the game. Stick around to the end of the video for a borderline broken silver leaf farm, by the way, and yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. Okay, what I'd been informed of was that as long as you have no Solstice Armor unlocked, then your Bonfire Bash loot drops will be 100% weapon drops across the board. That part is actually true. You'll only get weapon drops until you unlock armor pieces, and then when you unlock armor pieces, that will be added into your loot pool. Therefore, it was advised that in order to purely farm Solstice weapon drops, you should intentionally hold off on unlocking armor until you've gotten the weapon rolls that you want. I'm now going to show you why you should basically be doing the exact opposite. While yes, unlocking armor will add it to your Bonfire Bash loot pool, unlocking armor also gives you more loot drops from Bonfire Bash in general. Check it out. I decided to keep a detailed list of my Bonfire Bash drops, and here's what I came up with. Later, I'll give you an extra set of numbers to make you laugh, by the way. Anyway, when I hadn't unlocked any Solstice Armor at all, I was getting either 5 or 6 engrams at the end of a Bonfire Bash activity. As expected, they were all weapon drops because that's all I was able to get. After 10 Bonfire Bashes, I then decided to unlock every piece of Solstice Armor. Now, look what happens. Rather than 5 or 6 engrams per Bonfire completion, we're getting 9 to 11, with 11 drops being the more frequent number. Now, I was worried that even with armor being thrown into the mix and potentially getting more drops, that there might be a chance that, let's say, after a Bonfire Bash, I got 9 engrams to drop and maybe 8 of them might be armor pieces. I can definitely say that the original info shared with me was not accurate. I never once got below 5 weapons to drop. As you can see, I got 5 or 6 weapons to drop every single time, which is exactly the same amount I was getting normally from Bonfire Bash before unlocking any armor at all. And by the way, not only will unlocking armor not hurt your weapon drops, you actually should try to unlock all your armor pieces as quickly as you can. Reason being, when you've unlocked every individual piece of armor, your forge bounties will get an upgrade. The gray bounties will now have a chance to give you high stat armor, meanwhile green bounties will give you a chance at either high stat armor or a Solstice weapon with double perks in either column 3 or column 4 or both. I found that isn't guaranteed to have double perks in both columns. I got a hand cannon with only 1 extra perk in column 4, while my bow had double perks in columns 3 and 4. For high difficulty bounties, it apparently isn't even a chance. It's just a guarantee that you're going to get high stat armor and a Solstice weapon with extra perks. This is hands down your best bet to get God roll Solstice weapons, not Bonfire Bash farming high level forge bounty completion. There are 3 types of high level bounty: complete a Grandmaster Nightfall, complete encounters in any dungeon, and complete encounters in any raid. Completing 3 encounters in any dungeon might seem annoying, but remember that if you get a boss checkpoint for the Shattered Throne dungeon, you can just farm the boss Dul Inkaru, who can be bowled over in literally under 1 minute. On top of that, this week's Grandmaster Nightfall is Fallen Saber, a notoriously easy Grandmaster. So in a perfect world, I'd say you should get 5 high-level forge bounties, and ideally they're all the exact same bounty, aka 5 bounties that want you to just complete a Grandmaster Nightfall, or whatever. Then get a group together who's doing the same thing you are, and beat the Nightfall, or whatever your high-level bounties are. Reminder that you can literally refresh your forge bounties by clicking the icon on the far left, although doing that will cost you 5 5 silver. Therefore, you should get a lot of silver leaves, and as it turns out, Bungie has not nerfed the old tried and true silver leaf farming method, the first contact checkpoint farm from the Lightfall campaign. In short, run through the first contact mission until you get to the point where you're about to enter the Cabal drop pods. Save that checkpoint by giving the fireteam lead to your teammate and swapping characters, then rejoining them and finishing the mission. Entering the drop pod and getting launched out of the ship will end that part of the mission and give you up to 11 silver leaves on master difficulty. And you can just keep loading up that checkpoint and doing that over and over. If you launch the first contact mission and it starts you off on Neomuna, you just have to run through that mission one whole time. Annoying, I know, but then when you complete it, the next time you launch that mission, you should be aboard the ship and able to reach the Cabal drop pod area. And there you go. Final number to make you chuckle, by the way, back to our data. If you didn't know, Solstice weapon drops are heavily weighted towards the new bow. Out of 56 total weapon drops in my pre-armor farming, 30 of those weapons were bows, aka 56% of all my weapon drops. Good lord. I get why Bungie wants us to have an easier time getting the new weapon, but damn it, I want the old weapons. Their perks are actually kind of good now. Anyway, enjoy the new info, happy farming, and I'll see you next time.